quasi-government agency known as the Men in Black.
While this Peter Graves-hosted conspiracy program is a fun way to unload some exposition, it's still a bunch of narration and exposition. Ne'er fun's position.
Here is one of their stories that never happened.
Pete uses the scissoring method of finger quoting instead of the more acceptable Farley Rabbit Ears method of fingering them. And now I'm in the mood to watch the movie Bound, and I have no idea why.
From one of their files that doesn't exist.
Would you file it under the letter X? Someone should make a super great show for about 5 seasons and then disappoint everyone. You know, like every show ever.
The Zarthon's princess, Lorana, beseeched the Men in Black to hide the light from Serlina.
Geez, Barry, why even make the movie if you're just gonna lay the full story for us? Little known fact, Sonnenfeld is German for tell, don't show.
The Men in Black subdued Serlina, allowing the Zarthons to escape Serlina, released from her captors.
Wait a minute, I know this so-called history show is cheaply produced, but how did Serlina get released from her captors? I guess it's saying that once the Zarthons escaped, the Men in Black were distracted by all the beautiful women leaving the planet. But this program really yada-yada'd how Serlina got free. You mean the movie is set exactly at the time that it came out? This is fun and all for people who came to see it when it was released, but what about now? In 2019, I spit on your movie release time-setting congruency. If you have the intelligence and engineering to traverse light years of space, I'm going to go ahead and say that you should also have the intelligence and engineering to figure out things like reverse propulsion and landing gear. But sure, do the crash landing thing for reasons. Cute trick and all, but doesn't this make the proportions of the opening planet destruction montage a little wacky? I mean, coming around this planet with rings, which only exist on gas giants by the way, it looks to be the size of a decent moon. And even if you're dealing with ridiculous force perspective, the weapons it's deploying appear to contact a huge area. Also, when the ship landed, it kicked up a small mound of dirt in front of it. But now it's just sitting on flat land. Don't lie to me about your size and then tell me it was just a joke, Roger. Wait, what? Jesus, how much more amazing would this movie have been if this alien had turned itself into Larry David? Hardy har, the creature bases its form on a Victoria's Secret ad. Except how would it understand relative size and depth based on this layout? You can barely even tell she has 2 legs in this shot. If this were real, the creature would have ended up being a one-eared, one-legged creature with only a left hand and no foot that drags itself along the ground by nubs. In other words, a better movie. Also, hasn't Hot Medusa already seen humans? That is, if we're supposed to believe Peter Graves, who just so happens to be right about basically everything else, including the exact design of its ship. Weren't humans at that meeting?
Hey, pretty lady.
This walking sexual assault stereotype is either completely ignoring that this woman's face just came from chompy Venus flytrap snakes, or he just accidentally accosted her. Not even sure which is less realistic or disgusting. This bush alone saved them millions on special effects, but why exactly did she go back there to, if I'm reading the movie correctly, vomit up boots and a jacket? She can make clothes out of her snaky powers. Also, and I don't even like saying this, but it's hard to read this as anything but a sick eating disorder joke. This entire intro to this character is all kinds of icks and all kinds of ists, and I can't believe it happened in the 2Ks. Hey Steve, did you finish all the visual effects on that scene where Kronk strangles the flower creature? If I say yes, can we go grab some In-N-Out? Sure, I'd love a double-double animal style. Then yes, all visual effects have been completed. How the f did Agent T even get into the Men in Black being this stupid? Last movie showed us that even the best of the best have a difficult time getting in. Jay survives this. Isn't the whole point of the MIB to keep us regular folks from knowing there are aliens? I'm just gonna go ahead and add 10 sins for all the times in this movie that would have been impossible. Also, it's impossible that Jeff, the 600-foot worm, is a regular inhabitant of New York City subways and nobody has seen him. This movie makes it seem like there aren't gobs of people who work on the track. Homeless people, and Peter Parker finding out the truth about his dad that wouldn't have seen Jeff and the secret would be out. Why is there nobody on the platform? Later, when Jay is talking to the MIB headquarters, it is shown to be a busy station with tons of riders. Now, maybe they wouldn't need a good neuralizing because they didn't see the 600-foot worm, but they definitely have questions. The irony of the green screen reflection is that it could easily have been replaced with some black CGI paint or some.
Watch your step. You will have a nice evening.
Jay gave all the passengers a story, as is protocol, but Captain Larry sat in the driver's seat the entire time and did not get a story. He was an asshole, but he deserves a story.
Sorry, fellas, station closed.
Well, good thing Jay told these 2 people about it, and nobody put up a barrier of any sort, not to mention all the people who are currently running around the station already. What's better than Johnny Knoxville? 2 Johnny Knoxvilles!
You ever heard of James Edwards? Well, he saved the lives of about 85 people on the subway.
85? I'll give you 20, Mr. Hyperbolize. Sure, people won't know what this flashy thing is, but why does he need to do this in a f***ing diner?
Excuse me, buddy's kind of shy, but he thinks you are hot.
Relationships are easy, though considering you basically just turned him into the human equivalent of a potato, I'm sure he'll be putty in her hands.
You're too late. Tomorrow at midnight, the light will leave the 3rd planet and be back home.
Sounds like A, she's actually not too late, and B, you told her this for no goddamn reason, other than to advance the plot. I f***ing hate people who are close to death in movies. They are very talky.
3rd rock from the sun.
I never got that till now.
Discount Zaphod Beeblebrox apparently has a custom Beat It jacket made for his extra noggin. Can someone please explain to me how the head works with that sleeve? And even with a zipper, you need a second person to unzip and zip it. The impracticality of it all is well worth a cent.
See, you neuralized another partner.
So is that just something the agents can do? Shouldn't there be a ruling body or organizational structure that decides on when these kinds of things happen?
That'd be my fault, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. Please don't neuralize me, sir.
But what if somebody decides you won't, always be their baby? Would you want to forget that?
There was a killing earlier, 177 Spring. Alien on alien.
I'm fascinated to know how the Men in Black manage these cases, because you know the cops were called, and they told people back at the station about it. So do the MIB send out people specifically to investigate the chain of command at a police station so they know who to neuralize?
You can't count Elle. I mean, she wanted to go back to the morgue.
There are many rumors as to why Linda Fiorentino didn't come back for Men in Black 2, but there is no way her character wanted to go back to the morgue.
So you're back from outer space. I just walked in.
Remember when talking dogs were the very definition of hilarious? I hope so, because this movie is approximately 57% chatty canine humor. F***ing Frank.
A light. They just kept asking Ben about a light.
Why couldn't she tell him this back at the pizza place again? Why is this diner the best place to neuralize people? Good God, man.
I'll see you, but you won't see me.
That's very lonely.
Why would she say this? It's lonely because the people he interrogates won't know who he is? The only reason why she's saying this is because she's Rosario Dawson, and she's the romantic interest.
I'll flash you some other time.
Yet another reason why the MIB couldn't possibly prevent the knowledge of aliens from the general population. Boners. And Agent J is horrible at his job. Guessing it's for plot reasons. Am I close? Where the hell is Laura? She should be here, but she is very not.
Got kids?
No.
Want them?
Based on his threat, Frank is either castrating or impregnating this man now, and I'm not actually sure what a movie is anymore.
I gave the order, my best agent carried it out.
Well, let's ask the agent.
Can't.
Dead?
Sort of. He works at the post office.
Was it hard to just say Agent K or Tommy Lee Jones? Either one would work. It's not like the people who are watching this movie don't know it's him. There's no reason for the guessing game.
The Earth's very existence may rest on what K knows.
Because we weighed the options of either not having Tommy Lee Jones in this and honoring the integrity of the first movie's conclusion versus the pile of money we would make by being able to put you both on the poster again, and you'll never guess what won. In what town do the retired white folk gather to hear a postmaster speak about proper package techniques?
You are a former agent of a top-secret organization that monitors extraterrestrials on Earth.
I feel like it would be easier to just neuralize K again, give him the story that he used to be in the MIB, and get him out of there before trying to convince him like this. I mean, wouldn't that work?
20 Rugrat stamps, please.
Stamps. Oh! Luckily for Jay, this small-town post office just happens to have Biz Marquis, the alien, working for it. Multiple aliens working for it. I mean, were they put here just in case Jay needed to prove aliens exist? This is a small town in Massachusetts. How does the MIB account for all these assholes outside of New York?
Just about everybody works in a post office as an alien.
I guess that also means everyone at the DMV, Congress, any place where there are potential weirdos. This movie upped the alien population on Earth by 800% from the last one.
Zed, the Jolocks are gone and the treaty is signed.
There's absolutely nothing I can say here that would be funny, appropriate, or not misconstrued in some way. So let's just acknowledge that this cameo was problematic even in 2002 and move on, shall we?
Get him armed and up to speed and over to deneuralization.
In that order, maybe get K's mind back before handing over weapons and top secret info.
The most advanced technologies from all over the universe are in this room.
Props department was like, how do we convey advanced technology? Oh, I know, everything is chrome.
Oh, it's lost!
Hands in your pockets.
Or, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe don't leave an entire civilization completely unprotected in the middle of a crowded storage room.
The deneuralizer.
My question is, why did Zed make a big deal out of telling Jay...
It's too bad you wiped out his entire memory of it.
...when there's a deneuralizer?
Cylana Gorth.
Serlina is about to attack the MIB headquarters, so why does she bother with the immigration and naturalization nonsense? Is it the overindulgent product placement in the background? Because I think it might be the overindulgent product placement in the background.
Really want to learn how to be an underwear model.
They told me I've got real potential.
This is why the human body should be normalized instead of objectified. Titties shouldn't trigger hypoxic blackouts. The deneuralizer room has an escape hatch system that literally flushes people, because the people who run the Men in Black have an incredible sense of humor about security breaches. But my question is, does anywhere else in the building have a system like this? Because the deneuralizer can't be a place where people go very often. It's amazing they have the funds to include one in such a low-traffic area.
Fresh out. Can't help you.
It's unbelievable this guy is stalling these guys and this movie by claiming he doesn't have a deneuralizer, especially when Jay found out he was selling one through eBay. So why is this happening?
Still working off the 6.0.
Bad news, Monk. You're off by 5.07 softwares. So quit trying to pad your stats, bro. Neat, the extended cut of the bike people. Why reshoot on a new street in front of a new building on a new side of town when you can deja vu your way through filmmaking? Also, the problem with these convenient alien brain refreshers for Mr. Lee Jones here is that they can be seen by anyone. The idea that the MIB could keep alien life secret if it were this prevalent and obvious is the biggest load of implausible deniability in the entire franchise. Aw, the Orion constellation. He remembers that one thing about that other movie where it meant something or other. Here's the problem. In July 2002, Orion was only visible if you were standing in Antarctica. That's right. We're up here putting the smartass in astronomy. Or smart astronomy. I mean, putting the smartass in your smartass. This movie sucks.
Kate, he's a Balchinian.
Sigh. Also, I'm guessing that's not the name of this dude's race, which I'm guessing makes that statement racist. Also, what happened to the two-headed Johnny Knoxville guy? He was here just a second ago, but when Kay came to save Jay, he beat up or killed all the other guys, and we never saw him leave or anything.
Is he used to drive that old busted joint?
Holy that John thing existed before Creed? Why would Tessa Thompson talk like she made that up then? And it's a Pennsylvania expression? Pennsylvania. If Zed's being hung upside down here, I guess that means no other place in the entire MIB headquarters had one of those escape hatch flushing apparatuses then, huh? Dear Groucho God and Mo Howard Heaven, what in the is this movie?
If that is a hell of a fish.
Jeez, what are we reenacting scenes from The Fugitive now?
You left yourself clues.
Yeah. In case I had to be deneuralized because my replacement couldn't handle the situation.
And that's different than just having your memories because, seriously, either you want the info erased or not. Anything else is just an excuse for the plotting plot to plot and plot. Also, if this situation was so important, why didn't Kay write down exact instructions and put it in a safe that only Zed would know about? Or anything other than this Da Vinci Code nonsense.
Who would stack pizza boxes like this?
As someone who worked for a pizza place, I can tell you two things. Someone was stoned, and this is a fire hazard. Also, they weren't stacked like this before, so this is a dumb observation for many reasons. There is no way that this key wasn't discovered over the course of 25 years and wasn't lost or stolen. Yeah! MIB sequels are like taking my dog to the vet. The sentence I'm least hoping to hear is, those strange worm things are back. In both cases, I leave severely disappointed.
Once you go worm, that's what you'll yearn.
Once you go worm, that's what you'll yearn.
Don't fall asleep.
Politeness, Laura. You're in a room of sassy, molesty alien worms. Don't feel like you have to smile. And you, Jay, for leaving her with the Fondle Squad.
I like to keep my enemies confused.
We all confused, Kay.
Detective Del Spooner would be excellent at CinemaSins. Looks like this alien race that worships Kay built their world with a lot of New York City trash, but how did they get inside the locker? While they might be small enough to fit inside a locked locker, none of the stuff their city is made of is small enough. And we all know Kay didn't spend hours building their city for them.
You never checked out a tape.
Discount Natalie Portman.
You reserved one once, but you never picked it up.
None of Kay's scavenger hunt makes sense at all. Too many things could have gone wrong. The key to the locker just hanging out in the open at the pizza parlor, using a train station locker in the first place, and leaving something in a place of business. Even a business that will last forever and always, like a movie rental store, is a huge risk.
Jara, it's just a sin that they've kept a genius like you locked away.
Is it though? Processing. Nope, I think it makes sense that he stayed locked away. No sin there, evil sexy plant lady. And if there's one thing we are consistent about around here, it's not sinning sins that aren't actually sins, so that's definitely a sin.
Their Eagle Scout Agent J caught me siphoning the Earth's ozone to sell on the black market. They're very touchy about this global warming thing.
Not anymore, Jara. We have accepted that we are totally f***ed and plan to single-use plastics to our doom. I'm sending the human race here.
Newton, is that you?
Wait, are they in the video store anymore? Did they go to this dude's house? What the f***? By the way, is it weird that David Cross is playing a different character in this movie after the character he played in the last movie was killed? I say it's weird, and M. Night's character from Glass agrees.
But the Zarthons had a great treasure. The light of Zartha.
In a movie that can't even get to an hour and a half, including the credits, you want to double exposition me with the same crappy VHS tape played the entire way through both times? I'm not gonna lie, this movie is starting to make me actively angry.
Could not intervene.
No. It was 9.
So wait, Kay went through all this bullshit to reserve a tape that didn't even have accurate information on it, with the goal being to trigger his memory later? Man, he could have bought the tape and again gave it to Zed or put it in a safe and nobody would have figured out anything, even if they were the hugest Peter Grave fans on the planet. Also, earlier we needed a machine to bring back neuralized memories, but now a simple video presentation will do the trick. Remember the days when de-aging an actor just meant darkening their hair, shooting it at night, running it back at 5 frames per second, and lowering the resolution? Eat your heart out, Marvel.
Third, the second y'all get back from Cambodia, move your bum ass out of your mom's house.
You want to go to Cambodia?
Yeah.
Hey, Mom?
Why the is he picking up a shovel and asking for his mom? He's either about to kill her or dig to Cambodia, and I hate that I'm confused about where this movie is leading me.
Scrad!
By the way, we haven't seen that jackass Scrad since the deneuralizer scene, and we won't see him again the rest of the movie, even though he's supposedly involved at every step. It seems like primary henchman duties transferred to Jara, but without any explanation as to where he went or what. This movie cares not for your need of character consistency and resolution. M. Night's character from Glass does approve of this Barry Sonnenfeld cameo, but I overruled his ass, and this is a sin.
Came by to pick up a few things.
This family has the thermostat set at a blistering 84, plus Barry Sonnenfeld is wearing long sleeves. Maybe this is part of that new hotness Will Smith is always yammering on about. Also, the code is simply to go down to 60, back up to 84, and down to 60 again. If you were hiding a super secret stash of alien weaponry, wouldn't you go for something a little more secure than a regular March week in Nashville? They're on what amounts to a freight elevator, right? How the f did they just jump up here and reach far enough to press themselves against the ceiling?
Oh, yummy. Someone I need to eat.
How disappointing is this villain? Serlina can be who she wants to be and is super powerful, but after she takes over the MIB headquarters, she basically does nothing but wait around and give orders. The story never allows her to shine, and it's far more focused on Kay's stupid scavenger hunt than her character development. The producers of the movie thought we loved these worm assholes so much that we not only wanted to see them again, but would love it if they were brought along for the final fight for no reason whatsoever. The producers of this movie were wrong. So these fancy shiny alien guns shoot regular old bullets then? Is it wrong that something so gross gives me a boner? Is it also wrong that when I saw Tommy Lee Jones wrapped up in snakes, I also wrapped myself up in snakes and put a picture of Laura Flynn Boyle on a vacuum cleaner and pretended this was happening to me? I have to say, the best part of this launch room are the 5 flashing neon green arrow sections with the English word up underneath. Very helpful.
I want him in pieces!
Why didn't you make them do that before? Was all this for the comedic hijinks?
4, 3, 2. Launch terminated.
Didn't Jara build this? Then how does Detective Michael Lowry know how to activate the kill switch so easily? It's necessary for the movie to have Serlina come back, but how does this thing still exist? He vaporized her, including all her snakes, so how does something come from nothing? Also, as much as they know about every single species they uncover, and the fact that there was still a visible remnant here, how is it possible they just left it there to do its bad guy is an actually dead cliche without a single thought? I don't think I have the patience at this point to detail this piece by piece, but they launched this car in the middle of Times Square, then fly all the way out of Times Square without turning to fly into Times Square again. Then they fly with the Empire State Building behind. You know what? I said I wasn't going to detail all this, damn it. Just know the geography in this chase is a total cluster.
What's that? At hyperspeed, you have to use the navigational star.
Okay.
Good to see Sony being truthful about exactly how their PlayStation controller works, and why I had to replace so many after they accidentally got thrown to the ground really hard.
So I said, listen, bitch, if you don't want me to kick your skinny zone diet ass.
Sure, that's all kinds of ist, but it's the reference to the ever-popular Zone diet that really saves it. Transparent chairs.
Didn't your mother ever give you a Game Boy?
A Game Boy has 2 buttons and a 4-direction pad. Not sure how that's supposed to help with the obvious PlayStation controller, but at least I know the movie will be over soon.
Where is he?
Movie makes it seem like Jeff is just always hanging out in the New York City Express tracks. The whole idea of Jeff should have been scrapped due to the logistical nightmares he causes, from track obstruction to being seen by the public. He makes no sense.
Oops. Teeth.
Fun fact, Oops Teeth was recently voted the #2 cause of breakups in a recent Reader's Digest survey. It was only beaten by Oops, My Ring is Missing. Chekhov's Jeff.
Where is the light?
Right here.
Okay, Lorana, she's her daughter. Makes sense, I suppose, but could anything about this movie be more underdeveloped?
What? I'm the light? No way.
See, now this is the perfect moment to zap her memory and say, you are an alien princess, and in order to save our planet, you need to leave now. But no, we need a forced love story and a few more minutes to let Serlina return.
You know things before they happen.
I'm a Libra.
You're Zarthan. When you get sad, it always seems to rain.
Did any of this happen in the movie? I guess it did, but telling the future? Jay and Kay came back to the worm guy's apartment to find out that she'd been taken away by 2-headed Johnny Knoxville. These concepts were either barely explored or aren't true. Will Smith and Rosario Dawson look sad at each other for 25 seconds before anyone says anything. Serlina found a way to control Jeff while inside his stomach, but how the did she know where to go? They flew to the top of a tall building after that mess in the subway, so what gives?
Why didn't you tell me? Would you have let her go?
He just learned about it, and considering that he was just trying to get Laura on the spaceship a minute ago, the answer is f***ing yes. Well, Serlina's evaporated again, which means she'll be back for one more fight here in a minute. Wait, she's not? Then why didn't she die the other time she got wiped out? Give me your tired plot devices, yearning to be believed. This is beyond stupid. What about the part where you had to tell the neuralized what to believe? What about the part where you set the time on the device so you don't erase important memories? What about the part where there is hardly anyone looking at the Statue of Liberty right now? What about a heads up for the other MIB agents? What about X-Men did it better? Mother of freedom. Oh, so we're in a locker of an even bigger world, much like the guys in the train station locker. I'm sure this is an idea that will be explored fully in Men in Black 3. Coming soon to a theater. 10 years? Wow, they probably forgot about this then. Never mind.
You ever feel like you're alone in the universe?
Yeah, that's right. Just about everybody works in a post office as an alien.
How long you been here? 48 years. Next year, they move me up to parcels. If I'm lucky.
Bend him!
Bend him?
No one can cross a ball or bend it like Beckham.
Exterminate!
You've lost, you insignificant speck. You've wasted 25 years of my time, and for what?
You sly dog! You got me monologuing!
Didn't I promise you fireworks?